Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our Let's Talk Wellness series for February. February is American Heart Month. So, all month long, we're going to be getting really great tips and tricks and information to support our heart health. It's extremely important, if not the most important muscle in the entire body. Today, we have the lovely Jennifer Totten coming in today to talk about 10 tips for a healthy heart. Feel free to reach out in the chat this entire time. I will relay all your questions. If we have time, there's going to be some time for questions at the end of the presentation. So thank you all, and Jen, take it away.
Thank you, Nick. Yes, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's Let's Talk Wellness. My name is Jen Totten. I'm part of the Be Well Ground team. Today's Let's Talk Wellness is being recorded and will be posted within Virgin Pulse within a few days. So let's begin. So heart disease. What is heart disease? And what is about our hearts? Our hearts are essential to our survival. They're a part of our circulatory system, and they're responsible for pumping oxygen-rich blood throughout our body. So here you're going to find some interesting facts about the human heart that you may not know. Did you know the average heart is the size of an adult fist? The beating sound of your heart makes it's caused by the opening and closing of its valves. And the average person heart beats around 115,000 times a day. If you were to stretch out the whole blood vessel system, it would extend over 60,000 miles. And the heart pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood daily. And lastly, did you know that laughing is good for your heart too? It helps reduce stress and gives a boost to your immune system. Now, these are some facts that are just meant to be light and fun, but the most important thing to understand is how critical it is to maintain proper heart health. So according to the CDC, about 655,000 Americans die from heart disease each year. That's about 1 in every 4 Americans, for 1 in 4 deaths. Heart disease is described of a range of conditions that affect your heart. Heart disease includes blood vessel disease, such as coronary artery disease, heart rhythm problems, heart defects you're born with, heart valve disease, disease of the heart, and heart infections. Okay, so the first step to living a healthy heart life is to be aware of the risk of the heart disease. There are some non-modifiable risk factors, such as your age, your family history, and race, but there's a lot of modifiable risk factors that you can work to improve, such as your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, smoking habits, diabetes, or having a sedentary lifestyle, or just unhealthy diet. The Mayo Clinic also has a heart disease risk calculator, I should say, where you can answer some questions and it will help determine your risk of heart disease. We actually put that link in the chat, so feel free to star that and save that too if you want to take that heart risk factor later on. So here, these are the 10 tips for a healthier heart. We're going to go into each one a little bit more detail. That's what the session's about. And just by being here today, listening to all these reminders is a great step for you to be in the right direction, because understanding the conditions that affect your heart and the habits can help prevent heart disease along the way with taking some action. So keeping up with that heart healthy so you can enjoy life and spend more time with your loved ones. So our first tip here is evaluate your family history. First and foremost, know that family history. Knowing your family's history can help you avoid both heart disease and stroke. So take time to evaluate if your father or brother had a known heart disease before the age of 55, or did your mother or sister have before the age of 65. And if someone in your immediate family does have a history of heart disease, it does not mean that you certainly had the same disease. It just means that you're more likely to them. But remember, there's a lot of risk factors that are modifiable, like making healthy lifestyle changes, such as getting better sleep and eating less sugar. Tip number 2 is to know your numbers. I always like to say with February, knowing your numbers come hand in hand. Do you know your numbers? We always ask that in February with heart disease. So knowing just a few key metrics can provide a pretty accurate picture of your current cardiac fitness and give you ongoing motivation to maintain healthy heart numbers and improve less healthy ones. So for starters, it can be helpful to track your steps throughout the day. Moving a lot improves each other's heart health measure and disease risk. So it's recommended to walk up to 10,000 steps per day, which I hope we are all doing and tracking with Inversion Pulse. Sleep is also a big contributing factor that could help lower the risk of heart disease. And although there's no right answer for all, most people need about 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And then of course, knowing your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar numbers is also very important for heart health. So I'll go into more of those into a little bit more detail. First, we want to talk about knowing your blood pressure. High blood pressure is a common disease that develops when blood flows through your arteries at a higher than normal pressure. Your blood pressure is made up of 2 numbers. Does anyone know what 2 numbers, the top number and bottom number are? Feel free to put them in the chat as I'm about to explain. There we go, systolic and diastolic, perfect. So so the systolic pressure is the pressure when the ventricles pump blood out of the heart. Diastolic pressure is the pressure between heartbeats when the heart is filling with blood. For most adults, a healthy blood pressure is usually less than 120 and over 80. Typically, most people don't have symptoms from high blood pressure until it has caused serious health problems. So that is why it's important to get your blood pressure checked regularly. Okay. And I just wanted to show here. Here's a chart for blood pressure fluctuates throughout the day, but it's when consistently stays high over a longer period of time, that's when it's diagnosed as hypertension. So make sure you keep an eye on your blood pressure. Most healthcare providers diagnose a person with high blood pressure after they had 2 or more higher readings taken on several occasions. Okay, and make sure you do seek immediate medical attention. Also, too, knowing your numbers is cholesterol. This cholesterol helps your body build new cells, insulate nerves, and produce hormones. Normally, the liver does make the cholesterol the body needs, but cholesterol also comes and enters your body from food, such as animal-based foods like milk, eggs, meat, and this is where too much cholesterol in your body is a risk factor for heart disease. Okay. If there's any questions, feel free to answer it in the chat or ask it in the chat. We will be there to answer your questions throughout. So don't be afraid to reach out in the chat, guys. Okay, there's a lot of great information here. So we're gonna go forward. All right, so the other number you should know is about your blood sugar. Blood sugar or glucose comes from the food that you eat and is your body's main source of energy. So your blood carries glucose to all of your body cells to use for energy. A blood glucose test measures the amount of glucose in a sample of your blood and can help screen for pre-diabetes or diabetes. And it's recommended to be fasting for this test in order to get the most accurate results. So it's important really to be aware of your glucose levels because high glucose from diabetes can damage your blood vessels. But the good news is when you take steps to manage those pre-diabetes or diabetes, you can also help lower your chances for that heart disease. Okay. And tip number 3, we're moving on. As you can see here, achieving better blood pressure, cholesterol, and glucose levels is all tied to maintaining a healthy weight. The American Heart Association reports that 70% of adults are overweight and more than 1/3 are obese, which significantly increases the risk for heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. Even just losing a few pounds can make meaningful improvements to your health. So what is a healthy weight? By maintaining a healthy weight, all comes down to having a balanced diet and engaging in regular exercise. The first step is to help determine if you have a healthy weight or not is to know your BMI or body mass index. BMI is a standardized method used to evaluate weight and body fat and is calculated by using your height and weight. If your BMI is 25 or greater, you're at a higher risk for developing a number of health problems. But remember, keep in mind that BMI is not a great indicator for everyone. For example, people with a lot of muscle can sometimes fall into the obese range when they really are not obese. Think of a football player, right? They have a lot of muscle, or a basketball player, a lot of muscle, and their weight to height ratio will put them in the obese range. Okay, so another great indicator is to help determine if you're at a healthy weight is to measure your waist circumference. And goal for women is to have a waist circumference of 35 inches or men 40 inches or less. Tip number 4, being more active, right? Being more active is a great way to help with weight loss goals and very important for heart health. And if you sit all day for work, you can help reduce your risk just by getting up 5 minutes once every hour. So I'm going to actually challenge you, if you actually could right now, I want you to stand up. Stand up for the next 5 minutes. I'll watch my clock, and that will be your 5 minutes for this hour. Okay, so let's stand up. I wish I could, because otherwise you won't see me with my camera right now. But I'm working to get a standing desk. So be more active by standing as much as you could. So if 5 minutes on the clock, I will let you guys know when that 5 minutes is done. So again, being more active. The American College of Sports Medicine recommends adults to engage in at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise each week. Break it up. 10 minutes per day is equals your 30 minutes for your day. Okay. And whether it's 22 minutes a day, 7 days a week, or doing 50 minutes, 3 days a week, just try to get to the 150 minutes of moderate intensity per week. Okay. Tip number 5. Tip number 5 here is evaluating your eating habits is our 5th tip for having a healthy heart. As I'm sure you're all aware, right? If you eat a bunch of unhealthy processed foods, it can increase your blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose levels, and contribute to weight gain, all of which will increase your risk for heart disease. So eating a healthy and exercising can help you positively impact other aspects of your health and wellness. So eating more fiber and limiting how much sugar, fat, and salt you consume are a great place to start when it comes to evaluating your eating habits. If you're not really sure about your current eating habits, you can always download MyFitnessPal. If you qualify for Livongo, definitely get into Livongo. Research, look at the My Nutrition Guide within Virgin Pulse. Those are some great resources for you that you could find about your eating habits here. Also, too, it is also recommended a heart healthy eating plan is consider the Mediterranean diet, because this diet blends the basics of healthy eating with the traditional flavors and cooking methods of the Mediterranean. Okay. Feel free, if there's any questions, please put them in the chat too. Alrighty. Yep, Mediterranean diet study helps prevent the heart disease too. And it could even help improve the quality of life, those with heart-related conditions too. So tip number 6 here is to reduce the salt intake. I know I mentioned that a couple of times already. So it is mindful to be careful of your salt consumption. The body only needs a small amount of sodium to function, but most Americans typically consume way too much sodium, right? High sodium consumption can raise blood pressure. And as we know, high blood pressure is a major risk factor for heart disease. So as you can see in this picture right here on the slide, the body only needs about 180 to 500 mgs of salt per day, yet the average daily sodium intake is over 3,000. The ideal limit to keep in mind would be no more than 1,500. And just so you know, about 70% of sodium consumed is from processed or restaurant foods, and only a small portion of sodium is used in cooking or added at the table. So common foods that could be loaded with excess sodium includes breads, rolls, cold cuts, cured meats, some pizzas, soups, poultry. I know it's soup season, so soups definitely tend to have a lot of sodium. and sandwiches. Tip number 7 is to monitor your alcohol intake, because heavy drinking can make you more likely to get serious health problems like liver disease, cancer, and ulcers. High alcohol users can hurt your heart and lead to disease of heart muscle. And drinking alcohol regularly can also raise your blood pressure. If you're going to drink, it is recommended to do so in moderation. Moderate drinking is considered 1 drink a day for women or 2 drinks a day for men. And when done in moderation, it can be okay for most people. You just want to be aware of how much you're drinking per week and if it's contributing to your overall health or well-being. Tip number 8 is to set a quit date. Set a quit date. If you are a smoker, smoking harms nearly every organ of your body and is the leading cause of preventable death. I like to use that preventable right there and underlined it, okay? So smoking attacks your heart and circulatory system. It raises blood pressure and stresses your heart, which over time can weaken it and make it less effective. Your blood pressure also becomes thick and sticky from smoking, which makes it harder to pump. So when you quit, the risk of your heart attack declines within 24 hours. Your blood becomes thinner and less likely to form clots, and your heart won't have to work as hard. I just wanted to share with you guys a couple of programs that are supported through PSEG. We have, after an EAG exam, you could have a health mentor. This is offered to New Jersey employees with medical benefits, and also Long Island employees, Long Island MAST employees with medical benefits. You have your EAP programs, Beacon and CCA at your service. There's digital coaching on Virgin Pulse. And then also to your prescription drug coverage also covers over-the-counter smoking cessation products. I will be sharing this deck, so don't have to take notes. I will be sharing this deck at the end of the session. So tip number 9, we're almost there, guys. Tip number 9 is to manage your stress. Everyone feels stress, right, in different ways and reacts to it in different ways. So when stress is excessive, it can contribute to everything from high blood pressure to asthma and to ulcers. Chronic stress can also affect behaviors and factors that increase heart disease risk, like physical inactivity and overeating. So some people may choose to drink too much alcohol or smoke cigarettes to try to manage their stress. However, these habits just increase blood pressure and damage artery walls. Okay, so we're going to learn a couple about reducing your stress and managing your stress. So as you could see here, there's a lot of different stress management techniques to choose from. It's important to find the ones that work best for you. For example, if you're feeling stressed out, it can be helpful to sit down and journal about it, right? So you can really analyze of what's going on, or take a few minutes to, say, slow down and focus on your breath. So then you could practice witnessing your thoughts, your feelings, really without getting overwhelmed. And it's also helped to shift perspectives by focusing on the positives and having an attitude of gratitude. So there's so many different techniques to help you deal with your stress. So be sure to explore that's all that's out there, so you can be in the right state of mind to make better decisions and experience better outcomes when it comes to your health and well-being. And last but not least, our 10th tip here is to know when to seek help. Coronary artery disease, congestive heart failure, and heart attack each require different treatments, but share very similar warning signs. Some heart attacks strike suddenly, but many people have warning signs and symptoms hours, days, or even weeks in advance. So the earliest warning sign might be a recurring chest pain, or that pressure that's triggered by exertion and relieved by rest, right? So chest pain is really also known as angina, which is caused by a temporary decrease in blood flow to the heart and can be described as discomfort, heaviness, pressure, maybe aching, burning, fullness type of feel. So just remember that's a symptom there. Other symptoms maybe include nausea, indigestion, heartburn, abdominal pain, or shortness of breath. So it's really important to be aware of what's going on with your body. And if you're experiencing any signs or symptoms, be sure to visit your doctor so that you could receive the correct diagnosis and proper treatment. Like I mentioned, there's different treatment for each one. So now we went through those 10 tips, right, for heart health. Now I want to show you how PSEG really supports your health and how Be Well supports you. So first I want to show you that on Virgin Pulse, you can receive push notifications, are just a great way to stay up to date with everything that's going on with Be Well. And perhaps you might be missing whether it's a challenge around the important topics. So you can find push notifications by going to your profile and hitting settings. And there you can receive your push notifications regarding challenges and any kind of updates to your Be Well program. Your health assessment here is you take this about a 10 to 15 minute questionnaire where you answer questions on your personal health. And you could take this multiple times throughout the year, but just note you'll only receive 1,000 points one time per program year. So I always like to say, if you all of a sudden decide to quit smoking, take that health assessment. That heart age will change. If you lost a few pounds, take that health assessment again. Let's find that heart age again and keep you motivated and keep you striving for a higher number. Okay. Healthy habits is another great area within the Be Well platform here. You could track healthy habits 20 days a month and you could earn 100 Be Well points. So you could click on home, select healthy habits, and from there just browse all. You'll see everything from different habits on getting active, eating healthy, sleeping well, and then you could actually target and be specific on blood pressure as well. Okay. Journeys are a great way to introduce healthier habits into your life or maintain healthy habits that you already have in place. They're really designated to engage you in a series of small steps. So they last anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks to complete, and you'd receive 20 points per journey. You do 20 points per day, or once you complete a journey, you would receive 150 points. So for instance, on this slide here, I have live healthy, blood pressure. There's 17 tips for you to complete for blood pressure. The next benefit we have is Will. Will is also located on your programs page. This is a great program if you want to learn more about meditation, mindfulness, and yoga. So check it out on your programs page. You could view all, or you could scroll right down to the bottom as its alphabetical order. This here also too, there's Will Yoga 101. It's a great section if you're new to yoga or never tried yoga before. I highly recommend checking out this program here. Also to EHE, like I mentioned earlier, it's very important to receive your annual exam. So EHE is open for New Jersey employees who are enrolled in medical, as well as Long Island Mass employees enrolled in medical, to provide that annual preventive health exam. And then Livongo Weight Management is offered for New Jersey employees. So it's a no cost to you health program to help you lose weight, feel better, and it also does provide coaching to support with improving and managing your weight. If you do have a BMI 25 or above, you're eligible to enroll. If you do need to find out whether you have a BMI of 25 or above, remember that calculator is in our chat. So feel free to take that calculator. And if you are looking for a little extra push, definitely try out Livongo. We do have our EAP program for New Jersey and Long Island here. So I just wanted to call out that they are available for any kind of solutions, any kind of counseling service, work, life, and are available to assist you. And last but not least, I do have some great resources here. I do have some great resources here from the FDA, from the Mayo Clinic that you could take and use. And if there's any questions, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to put the slide deck within the chat. Feel free to open it up, save it. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. So thank you guys so much for coming to today's Let's Talk Wellness. We have next week, we have Eating with Your Heart next week with Nick Mojo. So please join us same time, same place, 12:30 to 1 on Tuesdays. Yes, you definitely could share the deck with your teams. And if you do need a Be Well message with any team huddles or safety meetings, please feel free to reach out to us. That'd be great. Thank you, Marianne and Joy.
Good job, Jen.
Thank you.